Okay, so this morning I'm going to go on a scavenger hunt of my house and try to find a couple of objects that I can use for our still life. Let's go. Okay, so look around your house and just try to find 5 or 6 different objects that you can use that you would want to draw. I'm going to do pumpkins because it's Thanksgiving-ish and Halloween-ish. Okay, so as you start to grab all your things, and I changed location for where I wanted to set up my still life, just arrange and put them in different places and consider your lighting source. So using your app on your iPad, just go ahead and snap a bunch of pictures. Okay, in order to set up our picture for our still life drawing, I'm going to go to the pictures that I shot that you saw just a bit ago, and I'm going to decide on what picture I want to use for my project. So I'm going to choose this one here. And what I want to do is start by going up in the upper right hand corner and clicking on Edit. So then the picture gets into this little menu right here. On the left-hand side of my iPad, I know you can't see my finger moving, but on the left-hand side, there's like a little box on the left that's rounded. At the top, it kind of looks like a timer. In the middle, it has 3 circles that overlap each other. And then on the bottom, it has sort of like a cropping, and it looks like you can rotate pictures. I want you to click on the middle one that has the 3 circles that overlap. So I'm gonna click on that, and you're gonna see I'm gonna have a bunch of filters that I can experiment with. I want you to navigate down to the bottom one that says mono. It's not the very bottom, but it's called mono. And you can adjust the intensity. We want to make sure it's all the way at 100% monochromatic. From there, oopsie, that's what I want. From there, I'm going to continue to edit by clicking on done and then coming back and hitting edit again. And then this is going to allow me to play around with the right hand side that moves up. And I can experiment with the highlights. I can intensify them or lower them. I'm going to intensify mine. You can also click down to shadows and you can make your shadows a little darker or richer. I'm going to intensify my shadows so that it's easier to see what's white and what's black. And then at the bottom, I'm going to play around also with contrast, and this will give me the ability to really intensify the difference between the lights and the darks and give me some really nice, easier ways to understand how the picture should look. From here, if I want to crop my picture or adjust my scene, you can. When you go to draw this, you don't actually have to draw all the details in the background. You can just shade it out in white or shade it out in black, kind of according to the picture that you take. But when you're done, you're just going to go ahead and hit done. All right, and then this is the picture that you're going to use from which to create your still life drawing. So the materials we're going to be using for this drawing, if you have masking tape, you can kind of make a border with masking tape. If you don't, that's okay. I'll have another option. Then you need your drawing pencils, and you also need a stump, or you could also use some tissue if you wanted to in order to kind of blend things. You might need a pencil sharpener as well as an eraser in order to work on your project. You also need some drawing paper, of course. It can be plain white paper, or you can use a piece from your sketchbook or your drawing pad and just rip it out and then cut off that little spiral edge if you have it. Okay, for option 1, you're just going to use masking tape to create a border that is basically going to mask out the graphite and keep the edges white. Now for option 2, you're actually going to measure 1 inch all the way around, and I like to measure it twice on each side so that I make sure my ruler doesn't get crooked as I draw. So I'm going around and measuring 2 on each side, and then I'm just drawing 1 inch, or creating 1 inch border all the way around the borders. Okay, so to get started with your actual drawing, you're just going to set up your picture, you're going to set up your paper, and you're going to start with those simple shapes. Once you have the simple shapes in, you can start to modify your contours and add in detail of the outline. And then once you have the outline done, you're going to go ahead and start blocking in and toning. All right, so do your best, have some fun, but make sure that you fill your paper from edge to edge. Okay, so the final requirements for your still life drawing, once you have set everything up and you're going to get going here, you need to keep these 4 things in mind. The first thing is that you need to make sure you have at least 6 items in your drawing. And that could be, in mine, I had like a pumpkin and I had a candle and I had a vase and I had a plant and all sorts of different things. And I definitely had more than 6 items. If you have more than 6 items, then you don't have to draw everything in your scene. You can just eliminate and shade in as if it's background if you want to, or you can draw all of them. So it's completely up to you, but you need to include at least 6 items. Number 2, you need to have a border around your paper. So you saw the 2 different ways that I showed you. You can measure it with a ruler and you can sketch it out and then just fill in the inside, or you can use tape and then remove your tape for the final presentation once you're ready to photograph it. Number 3, we're only using graphite. So we've been practicing using our different pencils. I want you to show off your skills here and only use graphite to shade and draw in. So don't add any color or any other material, just graphite. And then lastly, we're putting everything that we have learned about drawing into practice here, and so you're going to fully shade edge to edge, and that means inside of your borders, all right, including the background. So in my picture, I actually had like a brick, part of my brick fireplace, and some of my fire. I would just, if I were to finish this drawing, I would just shade it all in as one dark background, okay? And I wouldn't worry too much about all the extra things because those are additional items, all right? So you can just shade in the background and fill it in if there's a bunch of extra stuff in your background, or you can just include your background, but you do need to make sure that the entire page, everything has tone on it, whether it be the very, very lightest tone, which is pure white, all right, all the way to the very darkest shadows in your drawing.